first. Yeah.
Yeah. So did a couple of those episodes, and then he's got these segments called Extra Butter. And then
Okay.
some of those segments we talked about comedy, we talk about life, we just chop it up and stuff like that. It's really, really cool situation that he got set up. And you know me, I've been talking about trying to get my podcast back up and running and shit, and finally got a name, Comic Chops. Comedy Chops I couldn't use because somebody used it, so now it's Comic Chops. So
Comic chop. I like it. I
yeah.
like it.
So basically, and it's basically what are the two things that I loved when I was a little kid, 8 years old, right around the same time. It was pro wrestling and it was
Right.
comedy. You know what I'm saying? And so I was like, fuck it. Let's start there where those worlds intersect and collide and stuff. And let's talk, bring my friends in and let's talk comedy. And Nicho lives right down the road, Uvalde, and he's kind of feeling that itch to get back into stand up and stuff, right? And get that
Hey,
grind
okay.
and all that shit, right? So I've been trying to say, man, bring
Yeah,
your ass out here, bro. So we, you know, guys like Drew, Jay Valdez, Devin, when you get up here, man, this community and my friends that have embraced me and welcomed me in these past couple years, you're gonna be right at home, bro. Um,
Bro, we'll always welcome you in, Nicho. We got you, brother. Like seriously, man. Like it's a great
appreciate
community. We help
it.
comics that are new or just like coming into the city, try to get acclimated because I know it's kind of tough, right? Being a new guy in the
Yeah,
new scene, so we try to make it easy for you. We give you the open mic list, and we kind of welcome you with open arms, man.
yeah, man. So like I say a couple of years ago, the summer of 2022, about Mayish, I
Yeah,
jumped back in because I did an open mic back in like 08, 09, but I was I don't remember what I said, and back then I was probably drunk, because built up your nerves and stuff. And
yeah.
so yeah, that last summer or the summer before last, I just decided to give it another try because I was doing a film slam, that little small film short to present to people, and my brother was telling me I looked so comfortable up there because he had to be up there to present it, and he had a microphone and interact with the audience, whatever, even for that
Right.
little amount introduction. And my brother just like, damn, you look so good. Like I could never do that, and this and this, and I just started thinking like there's nothing really to it. I don't know these people.
Yeah.
There's no connection there to the point where it's like, oh, what are they gonna say? I'm just another dude off the street. I look illegal, but I'm not. And it's that. So I was comfortable enough to do that, and it just dawned on me like, what, you know, I've been wanting to do open mics, and I'm down the street at the time. I was living like south of San Antonio.
Okay.
Just went to LOL, and got done with it, and just felt this high, bro.
Yeah.
Just this euphoric feeling of fuck yeah, like golf clap. Good job.
Yeah, because
Good job.
honestly, bro, and I don't know if you ever like, I don't know if everybody ever told you, like comedians and public speakers, we do something that half of these motherfuckers can't do. Like they're just terrified. You ask anybody, like it feels like it feels like a superpower almost, right? Like it's something
Yeah,
that's like I can do this. Like I have the power to do this, and it's addicting, and it makes you want to come back for more. You know?
yeah.
Yeah,
I
man,
went
I
back
love it.
a few more times. I went back and did a few. I recorded, I think, two or three of the four times I went. I don't think I recorded the first one.
Okay.
And 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 yeah, but we moved that summer. At the end of that summer, we moved back to my hometown here in Brackett, which is like 2 hours down the road on Highway 90.
Yeah.
And so it just like the trip it was not as convenient as being 30, 40 minutes away. It's like it's a little bit more. And
Yeah.
then you think about it, most open mics get done close to 10 or 12. With the one I remember, so I was just gonna go to LOL. I didn't know any other places at the time, and I'm usually done by 9ish. I'm pretty either first five, or like I think the last time I was like 13th or something like that.
Yeah.
And so yeah, but like every time I got off, I was like, fuck yeah, like I want to come back. I want to do it again, and I know I can do it better than last time. You know, I'm reviewing it in my head, and then when I had the video footage, like, man, I forgot to do this. I started nitpicking, but yeah, man, like ultimately, shoot, I'd like to make a freaking indie film. You know what I mean?
Yeah. That's
And
it's just like an indie film, just closely related to like stand up comedy, or do you want to like do something
just
like another storyline, characters, kind of thing like
yeah,
that?
yeah,
Okay.
like those stories that pop into my head, and I'll jot down. Or like, you ever have like a crazy dream,
Yeah.
and it doesn't make any sense, but something stuck out enough so we're like, man, I could see that on a, I can see that happening, and then you start weaving like, well, how, why, what put you in that situation? Like, I remember I had a dream where I was in a car chase, but I was in a
Okay.
car chase I was in a car chase in Mario Kart. So how was that gonna, like it makes no sense. One minute I'm Grand Theft Auto, next minute I'm chasing Donkey Kong or whatever, and so it's stuff like that you kind of like write down, and I've written some bunch of stuff down, but just never made the effort to like script it out or storyline it out, and just usually just quick notes, and oh, okay, I'll get to it later.
Understandable, man. I mean,
Oh,
honestly, I mean, you're probably from Uvalde. I bet you did get into a car chase. You're not even telling us. Cops don't listen to this podcast. It's fine.
Yeah,
Nah,
ain't no
man. But
chance.
nah,
But yeah,
man. That's really cool, man. That's really dope. So, are you thinking about like making a trip up to San Antonio, coming out here and just doing some stuff, or what's up, man?
yeah, I've been thinking about going at least, Tuesday night, Wednesday, come back that Wednesday evening, probably take get a room up there, stay with my brother who lives close by.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, it's getting the set ready. I'm going through old notes, and I'm adding a couple of extra things that just popped into mind being back here and stuff. But but yeah, man. CJ has been really cool with, giving me tips and pointers and stuff like that. And then I don't know if you know this gentleman, Duck Easy. I ran into
Oh yeah,
him.
Duck. Yeah. Shout out
I
Duck
everybody.
ran,
Easy. You're awesome, brother.
yeah, he's killing it. I have follow him on Facebook and everything. But yeah, the day of like the first or second time I was there, I met him. But it was like he was the first one to like, hey, what's up, man? Like, where you from? Like, you like engaged me, and I'm just like, oh, okay, because it wasn't really too engaged. Like, there was people that were nice, and hey, can you record this for me? Like, yeah, dude, no problem. But it wasn't like, I saw a bunch of, because I'm basically like the new kid in school, so everybody's kind of, hey, what's up, knows each other, whatever, and I'm just sitting there hoping my name gets pulled, so I didn't make the trip for nothing. You know what I mean?
Yes.
And
Yes.
and Duck was like, he was engaging, and talking all badass. We're outside in the smoke area, and so yeah, man, I thought he's like, yeah, follow me on Facebook, and this and that, and but he's got a I've seen he's got a lot of irons in the fire. I think he has what is it? The Sunday night open mic, Rocky's Tavern or something.
Yeah, every I think it's every first and third. Hold on, is it every first and third Sunday, or every first and third Sundays?
Every third, yeah.
Rocky's Tavern, yeah, yeah. Shout out Duck Easy, and then
Yeah,
he
it's a good mic. I like that mic a lot. Like it's pretty
yeah,
good.
and he normally gives you anywhere, you know. I've he's given me up to 10 minutes at times. You know what I'm saying, depending on how many comics are up for the day or whatever. So yeah,
Yeah.
crowd is rocking, and I like what I like about Duck the most and stuff. He's controversial kind of cat in certain ways and stuff, but he has no problem telling you his opinion and being brutally honest, whether whether you want to hear it or not. You know what I'm saying? But I appreciate that. I respect that about
Yeah.
Duck. And plus, he's
Yeah.
funny, man. I think Duck's funny. I did the last Friday at the East at Dakota. I think he got on that show, and he killed the crowd, man. It was a good night. Shout out Duck.
Hell
Hell
yeah.
yeah, man.
I need to do another
How'd you
reggae
do
bar
on that
show,
show,
man.
CJ?
Huh?
How'd you do on that show?
Uh, I did well until I started with the 9/11 stuff. Some of the there's some older heads in the crowd. There's one particular old Mexican dude. He was frowned up my whole set. But for the most part, I mean, that crowd is dope, man. It's a small room, but that crowd is dope. And shout out to Arturo Bars, who hosts that joint, and then he has the open mic on Wednesday. So, as a matter of fact, I rolled through there after hitting the Luchador.
Okay.
And just it was dope. Luchador was hot too, man. Did I tell you about Nitro? Did I tell you about this spot called Luchador on the south side here? Or South Central. Be careful. South Central San Antonio, not South Side. But it's got like for real, man.
Yeah,
I was like, shit, my bad. I didn't know I'd be gone a while.
Hang on, guys.
Yeah.
Nah, man, it's a nice spot. How's it? See, I like La Luchador, man. I haven't been there, man. Honestly, I didn't even know that mic was going on. I heard it was like it's up and running. I just haven't went there yet, man.
Yeah, Pat Christopher and if Pat's not there, is normally Scott Ramos hosting, one of the two. But guess who was there last? Guess who was there? Who? I had no idea. Motherfucking Thunder Rosa was there, bro.
Thunder Rosa?
Yeah, man.
She lives in SA, don't she?
She
lives in San Antonio.
Yeah. And I didn't recognize her because I didn't, because of half of the face or whatever and shit. I just remember seeing this hot little chick or whatever. But after when I was getting ready to leave, Scott was like, "Yo, man, did you see Thunder Rosa? She was here chilling." I was like, "Oh shit, no shit." But I got there kind of late though, so but yeah.
I bet you lost your shit, dude. You saw Thunder Rosa. You're a wrestling addict.
I didn't recognize her, so I'd never seen her without her half face, paint,
right?
Whatever. And so.
But that's dope, bro. That's so fucking cool, man. I had no idea Thunder Rosa even lived in SA. That's crazy to me.
Yeah, she trained through here, through River
RCW.
Yeah.
She does
through hybrid
she
wrestling,
does a wrestling
right? Is
show.
that one of the spots or no?
Wait, both of y'all talking at the same time.
Sorry, my bad. Sorry.
Like what? What'd you say, Nietzsche?
Oh no, I was gonna say she has like a wrestling show. She's involved there in San Antonio. She promotes, and then I don't know if y'all listen to the Billy Madison show, on Kiss 95 in the morning. She's done a couple things where she showed up on there to promote that wrestling show, and I think they did the kettlebell thing before Christmas or something. So yeah, it's a trip to know that she's still there. And usually people move up to Austin or Houston or whatever, but I think she's originally from SA.
Yeah, there's a lot of I was surprised that as many comics are wrestling fans and stuff. I thought I was like a closet wrestling fan. I kind of kept it to myself, you know what I'm saying? But
like R. Kelly.
Yeah. No, what?
Like being the anime kid in school.
Trapped in the wrestling closet and stuff. But no, there's a couple of wrestling marks and stuff. Speaking of is it gonna be at Luchador? Scott is gonna have a Royal Rumble party next Saturday.
Okay.
They're gonna have squares. They got a costume contest. They're gonna have all this shit. So I'm gonna try to roll through there if I ain't booed up with wifey and stuff. I'm gonna try to roll out there, man. But so yeah, that's a little spot, bro. It's got like all these lucha masks all over the place. It's got this big ass mural of Mil Mascaras and stuff. I'm looking for Conan's mask. I don't see no Conan. I don't see no Rey Mysterio so far. But it's kind of like
I saw Rey Mysterio. I was actually at Luchador for a Flash Lab show, and I think I saw a Rey Mysterio mask on that wall.
Yeah. So I go in there. Like the first time I went in there, I had my Conan and Pedro Aguayo mask versus.
Wait! Get up and show it. Let me see that shirt, bro.
Yeah,
get up and show it real quick.
It's
Hey, okay.
Yeah, I got that off Pro Wrestling. Conan has a Pro Wrestling tee shop. I got it off of that. And oh man, so me and Nicho are fans of Keeping It 100 with Conan and Disco, right? We're like super fans and stuff, Patreon subscribers. We do round tables and shit with them
for all the extra goodies.
Yeah, I've done like music round table. I've done a Tupac music round table and an Earth, Wind and Fire music round table with Conan and some other fans and shit like that. real cool motherfuckers, man. But
No shit, dude. I didn't know that. That's cool,
yeah.
bro.
Oh yeah, man. Oh, bro. So the last show, like they do the monthly Patreon shout outs and stuff, right? And I was promoting, bro. I sent a plug in for the New Year's show that we did at 7 Sky Bar on the 30th, right?
Right.
But Conan was like sick or whatever, so he didn't get a chance to do it. So a week later, so I ended up putting the Dakota East Side joint, right? So they read the plug. Disco says, "Hey, do me a favor, buy you some fruit today. Let it sit out for all the way until the day of the show. Go up to CJ show, throw rotten fruit at him. If you get it on video, send it to the show. We'll shot you." That was them plugging the motherfucking show. Tremendous, man. Doesn't matter if you're a super fan, man. They give you a rational ball busting, and it's all good, bro. But
you know what? I was actually telling CJ this, Nicho. I actually started getting into wrestling, and the wrestler that I started getting into heavily was Dusty Rhodes. Dusty Rhodes was like heavily 100% the guy that first introduced me to wrestling, bro. I'm talking about, because I am the American Dream, Dusty Rhodes. Man. First of all, I'd like to thank the many fans of Road Cards and Legends of Dusty Rhodes, the American Dream. Just beautiful fucking orator, man. Like, that dude just kicks ass, man. Like, that guy has to be the most charismatic dude ever, besides Ric Flair, of course. But this dude, I'd say this dude's better than Ric Flair.
It was like a close, like almost head to head, because they had a huge rivalry. But like people, like I'm sure if Dusty Rhodes was still alive, he'd get the same amount of love, from people that Ric Flair's getting. But dude, that I didn't really discover all his stuff till later on.
Oh, man. I was a little kid when Dusty and Dusty and Flair was a little bit before my time. I was Flair and Von Erichs and stuff, but my dad used to love Dusty Rhodes, and so we'd be watching the Georgia Championship wrestling on TBS on Sundays or whatever. And anytime Dusty was cutting those promos and shit, hard times and all them, my dad would be cracking up and shit. And I was like, this white man got black man swagger, man. I like this dude, man. He. And that was where he was raised. I mean, he was raised in the black, in the Black Baptist church and stuff. So a lot of that was his roots. You know what I'm saying? A lot of that was him. He wasn't playing no character. That was him.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And actually, just shout out. I know this is like a sequel podcast, but the movie that I saw that brought a tear to my goddamn eyes was the Iron Claw, man. Iron Claw was just the most coolest fucking movie ever.
Good.
I haven't seen it yet, bro, because it's like I want to see it, but I don't want to. There's two things. I don't want to pick it apart because I remember so much of it. That was like the birth of my wrestling fandom, was World Class Championship Wrestling.
Right.
And Kerry Von Erich was my first all-time favorite wrestler, and the vignettes and the commercial spots where the girls are like hanging all over Kevin and Carrie and not so much David. Carrie and Kevin were like the chick magnets. Girls are always hanging off of them and stuff. And he's like riding through the beach on a horse on this majestic steed, looking all badass, looking like a superhero or whatever.
Yeah,
that was my hero, bro. So it's like I just want to watch it and enjoy the movie. And not because I know the finish, because it's a terrible finish, terrible story. But I hear the movie is that damn good. So yeah, I do want to check it out, man.
Yeah, so I wasn't. The movie's got like the movie's got like some of the stuff like taken out, and I mean it's a movie about their lives, so they're gonna take stuff out and put stuff in or whatever. Mm-hmm. But I think there was like 4 brothers, and they got rid of one or something like that, or one of the brothers that passed away. I think which one?
Chris the youngest?
No, it was Chris. It was Chris because they integrated Michael and Chris's story together, because that was the last one. Oh yeah. Because Chris was the last wrestler, but they integrated Michael's story in there, and there's a couple of things that they adopted that Chris went through that they put through Michael. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it was like a weird parallel, but I mean it stood pretty close to from what CJ was telling me about the Von Erichs, man. It was kind of it was close. It was really close in my opinion.
Yeah, because what was I gonna say? They had the Dark Side of the Ring documentary, but I remember watching I think the video that WWE put out, or like it was like a
The tragedy. Yeah.
yeah 24 like back when they had WWE 24/7 or something like
Yeah.
that. It was like
Yeah.
a documentary,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Triumph tragedy
and it
of the
wasn't more in
world.
depth,
Yeah.
but
It,
but
it might it might be on Peacock. It might still be in the archives. I haven't looked. I haven't watched that in a while.
I forget what it's called, but I know they did one on the AWA and the NWA and just all the different territories. But I remember I remember watching that before the Dark Side. Dark Side came out back years later. But
Going
but
on.
yeah, man, I heard Dark Iron Claw's badass, and it done so well that they're thinking of doing it like for other wrestling families, like the Guerreros, or maybe that's just fans,
Yeah.
fantasy
You know
booking.
what? They need to do the Dusty Rhodes family first. I love the Guerreros, but Dusty Rhodes needs to come first, bro. That'll be like the ultimate. It should be called Hard Times, the Dusty Rhodes story. Boom, bro.
So Nicho, are you talking about Triumph and Tragedy of World Class Championship Wrestling? That's the one I was talking
Yeah,
about. That. Yeah.
I
That
know it
was
had a long ass title,
that
but
was
I
good.
couldn't remember their wrestling promotion.
Yeah.
World Class.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Right on.
That was it,
Uh,
man.
all right, guys. So Waka Waka, welcome to a very special extra butter. We've been shooting this shit live on YouTube, and if you haven't checked it out because you're not subscribed to my YouTube channel, what the fuck are you doing? Get me past that $200 mark. I mean, 200 member mark. My bad. I don't get paid. I'm joined today by a returning guest, CJ Emanuel,
What's
and
going on?
new guest, friend of the show, Mr. Drew Blues. What's going on, fellas?
How you doing, man? Long days and pleasant nights to both of y'all. Hell yeah. Thanks for having me, Nicho. This is amazing, man. CJ told me a lot of good things about your podcast. I'm so happy to be here, man.
I appreciate you. Appreciate that, man. So the gimmick here on the main show is podcast. You can't tell. It's called "Shut Up and Refill My Popcorn." There, I talk about the Black Sheep sequel and a favorite franchise. So, the worst Jurassic Park movie amongst all the Jurassic Park movies, or like just that single franchise. The worst. Plain simple. What's the worst Batman movie? That pretty much is the
The one with
worst
the nipples.
across all.
Yep.
Yeah, Batman and Robin. So I'm not gonna touch the Christian Bale. Those were fire, and people may hate Batfleck, but Batfleck was pretty badass in his role. But that's the main podcast. On Extra Butter, we kind of go to the normal stuff. We review shows and movies that are streaming, talk about trailers and some of the crap people talk about how this movie's gonna suck because the trailer released all the juicy stuff or whatever.
Right.
And it's I guess it's just like a little mini strip mall in different stores. So I have different shows on there. And one of them is I call a Popcorn 10, which is a movie that I enjoyed or I remember watching growing up. Or, I'm a let's say a 90s kid, born in the 80s, raised in the 90s. So a lot of stuff I remember watching was from like 93 up to 2000 and more. And this movie, it's 2000s Ready to Rumble. Classic,
Okay.
classic wrestling movie from, an era of wrestling that I enjoyed growing up watching. I'm sure CJ's grown up watching the same. As we said, we're fans of Conan and Disco and Rey Mysterio, Eddie Guerrero, all the greats that would eventually get to WWE, but they all, started with WCW and got their recognition from being on TV, on TBS and on the Ted Turner network with TNT and all that.
Okay.
Uh,
Okay.
so that, so this movie is gonna be including those wrestlers, and hell, I mean, if you haven't heard of this movie already, I mean, it's been out there 24 years, 23 and a half, whatever. Funny movie. Got all the classic recipes. You got Sting makes a cameo, Bill Goldberg, Conan, Disco, Huvatu, Prince Iakea. I probably said his name wrong.
No, that wasn't Prince Iakea. That was Ray without the mask.
Whoa.
That was in the opening scene. That was Ray.
No, I'm talking about in the brawl and like in the cage match. He was one of those guys.
Oh, okay. I thought you were talking about yeah. That was Ray in the opening. I popped when I was like, because I hadn't seen it when I saw it. I was like, oh shit, that looks like Ray without the mask. But then you think about 2000, that's when he had
That's
he had
when he
come
took it off.
Yeah.
There's a cameo from John Cena. You ever notice that in the gym?
I saw it as a rumor, but
I think he's a background character. I think he saw somebody that looked like John Cena, but I didn't know.
Yeah. So like the scene where the guys are talking to Bill Goldberg, or when Jimmy's talking to him, in the background you see a guy with like this weird ass haircut start working out on a machine, and I was like, that looks like him. And then it went back, or the scene or whatever, and you see him walking away. I was like, had to rewind it to make sure, and sure enough, John Cena's first appearance on TV was in Ready to Rumble. So if it came out in 2000, that would have been like what, 98, 99 when they filmed it.
Yeah.
So that's pretty crazy.
I don't think you saw John Cena because I heard you can't see him anywhere, you know?
Yeah, he's like a very small. I looked it up because I didn't know that, because I didn't see the movie when it came out.
Yeah.
By the time this came out in 2000, right? So I had already switched over to WWE almost full time by then. I kind of like 96, when leading up to Hogan, I was exclusively WCW, and then when Hogan showed up, I'm actually rewatching it I'm watching like matter of fact, Hogan just turned, and the episode where they lawn darted Ray against the side of the building. I just watched that episode and stuff. But so from like 96 to like 97 into 98, I was just straight WCW. And then like into 98, leading up to Mike Tyson, that's when I started watching both, because both were hot, both were good. And then right around the time, then it started to get kind of whack. Everybody was joining NWO. And then once they messed up Hogan Warrior, because at that time, that was like that WrestleMania 6 was like my favorite match, one of my favorite matches of all time. Just Hogan versus Ultimate Warrior, because I was a big Warrior mark back then. But when they messed that up, I was like, and then it was also around that time when I remember watching it, and they said, hey, don't go watch Captain Jack, or don't go watch Mick Foley win the champion as Cactus Jack. And I was like, oh shit, I love Cactus Jack. That's one of my all-time favorite wrestling. Talk about Dusty as a wrestling personality. Mick Foley / Cactus Jack / Mankind dude. He's a freaking genius.
I like that, man. Hell yeah.
So
that's Tony. So he was Mankind at the time, but Tony talked about it like his WCW persona, right? Because he wasn't doing the Cactus Jack character yet at that time, was he? I can't remember.
He was kind of I can't remember if he was doing the many, because he did many of Faces of Foley. I can't remember. Yeah, I can't remember. It's been so long.
You know what's weird about that? It's like if they go, I always thought if they go to another, federation or another company, I thought they would keep that same character. But it's weird as hell. Like Dusty Rhodes did the same thing, because he was the American Dream in one federation, then he became, was it the Common Man on another one? Like it was like a weird transition, man.
That's Vince. Yeah, that's Vincent McMahon. He very rarely would allow a wrestler to keep their persona, especially after the territory days finished. He he's like, I own that.
Yeah, if he didn't
with
come
some
up with
exceptions. Yeah.
He wasn't taking it. Yeah.
Yeah. But anyway, to cut back to, by the time this movie came out, WWE had been consistently getting better, and the WCW was they ran out of ideas and stuff. And this was even before Vince Russo went over to WCW and so-called killed, it was already, on the way down. And so I would kind of check in. So I was aware of it, but I wasn't that big of a fan of WCW so much then,
Okay.
So I I actually watched it for the first time a couple of days ago. So I have relatively fresh eyes on it.
You watch it every day, don't you? 24/7. I want to see your Peacock history, bro. How many wrestling episodes are on that motherfucker?
I pretty much watch the old stuff though, really.
Yeah.
So Vince does every other one of his shows that he does twice a month is breaking down the Attitude Era. And so he'll go from the time he was the head writer to the time he left. He's kind of covering those shows that he wrote and helped produce and stuff, because a lot of them are kind of, jogging his memory. And so on that, I'm kind of like in 90 towards the end of 98. It's right before they're going to build The Rock up to be the next champ or whatever, and that whole program with Mick Foley and stuff. So yeah, I watched those, man. I don't watch so much of the new stuff unless it's a really big show or I hear a lot of buzz about something, then I'll check it. But how about you? How you don't. Damn, let me start over. I'm high.
You okay? That's okay.
Yeah, I know, right? I'm
you
old.
Drink some water.
I know. You don't. You haven't been that much of a fan. You haven't been a fan that long, right? Damn.
No, not at all.
So you're a newbie. So how do you remember this movie? Because you're the youngest of the three of us, man. I'm like old head, then there's middle age head, and then there's young head. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Young blood.
But yeah, I watched this movie and it was real weird just because of course I saw the Iron Claw, but like the background of these characters were just like, it was crazy, I guess, behind the scenes of the wrestling, you know what I'm saying? Because they didn't show up, they showed how how the storylines are created, they showed how they came up with it, they showed practicing. It was just a different world that I imagined it to be, you know what I'm saying? I didn't think it was going to be that intense, if that makes sense,
Yeah, so compared to like the Iron Claw, this one's like a complete goof of a wrestling movie, because like, how many wrestling movies really are there that pop into mind? I could think of No Holds Barred, this one,
Nacho Libre, which I haven't seen that either.
Yeah, Nacho Libre, yeah, because it's a Mexican wrestling. But what was the other one? Oh, The Wrestler, the one with Mickey Rourke.
Oh, that movie was awesome, bro.
Ernest
I love
Miller, yeah. Ernest the Cat Miller, yeah. Yeah, that is great. Yeah, we're gonna I think we'll review that one soon as well, I think.
Yeah, because I don't think I've ever seen it.
Yeah, it's been a while since I've seen it, but anyway, we're talking about we're all over the place. We do this with every show. We're kind of all over the place.
It's probably only got like one person watching live. I appreciate it though.
Hey.
You the bomb.
Hey, thank you, brother. Nah, Ready to Rumble was a very good movie, man. It was a very compelling fucking story. The storyline was amazing. Now I had questions. Basically.
It was amazing.
Huh?
The storyline was amazing. This movie goofy, man.
It was a documentary series, right? I mean,
I don't know, man. What movie did you see? We watched the movie starring David Arquette, where him and his best friend Scott Can are wrestling marks, and they're a big fan of this guy named the King, and the King ends up he's like the Hulk Hogan of the movie or whatever, and then you're looking confused, like you don't know what.
I think I saw the wrong movie.
I think you did. When you said compelling, that's tremendous.
A documentary. Wait a minute.
But, yeah, when you said compelling and fantastic, amazing storyline, I'm like, this motherfucker didn't watch this fucking movie.
I saw Ready to Rumble.
No, you probably saw Behind the Mask, Beyond the Mat, or something like that. All right,
That's
so
another
what?
good one.
Wait. What happened to your movie that you saw? Hold on. Let's try to figure out what you saw. What happened to your movie?
Nothing. This movie, like I said, there's two guys, and they're trying to they're creating like characters for their wrestling thing. So they're basically training. They're going on tour. They're meeting up with the manager who's like setting them up to win against this big heavyweight champion. That's the movie that I saw.
I think CJ's putting in the
Uh,
Google machine.
uh, I know. Yeah, I typed in "Ready to Rumble" documentary, and guess what comes up? "Ready to Rumble" the movie 2000.
The movie,
The one
yes.
that me and D show and told you that. That's tremendous. That's great. But I'm trying to figure out what you saw. That sounds kind of good too.
God damn it! Hold on, I think I got it.
That's awesome.
I have it on my damn history, but yeah, it was yeah, I may have saw the wrong movie.
Oh, was it in English?
Was it a British type joint? Hold on. Because now I see Ready to Rumble 2019, directed by Adam Bosworth. You might have found okay, all right. A short documentary made for Cancer Research UK. Does that sound familiar?
Mm-mm.
Ready to Rumble is a short documentary made for Cancer Research UK presenter and Adam Bosworth as he goes from completely out of shape to stepping in a boxing ring and fighting. Oh, this is a boxing gimmick. Okay.
That's a boxing movie. Now it was a wrestling movie.
That's tremendous too, I guess. So I'm trying to figure out what you saw then.
Yeah,
I gotta bring up my history, but yeah, the movie that I saw was like they're just barely getting into it. They're doing they're in like the small box, like the small wrestling gym. It's like a small community gym, and they're doing like wrestling matches. And I think one of the agents are there from like this higher up federation, and they start working with this guy, and they start trying to compel, I guess, one of the characters to become the next heavyweight champion of the world. As basically like how they built the storylines, how the storylines are connected, shit like that. That's the movie that I saw. I might have been wrong about that. I might have saw the wrong movie.
Was there a wrestler in there who looked like Jake the Snake Roberts?
Mullet?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Oh
yes.
Man. Yes.
Was there a porta potty involved?
Huh?
Was there a porta potty involved?
That I don't remember.
Okay, so he's not talking about the goofy movie we're talking about. I think you're talking about Beyond the Mat. This is funny. Was there anyone who looked like The Rock or Stone Cold Steve Austin or Vince McMahon or China? Any of those people look familiar in this documentary you saw?
Oh shit! There's one guy that looked like The Rock, but I'm fucking scared.
You talking about?
Damn it, guys! I saw the wrong movie. I'm pissed.
Talking about Beyond the Mat.
Well,
that's awesome.
That has been our episode tonight.
That's awesome. All right. Well, we can still talk about the movie, bro. We'll still talk about the movie.
Yeah. Tell me about it. So, is David Arquette and somebody else?
Yeah. So David Arquette and who is it? Scott Caan.
Khan, yeah.
Yeah, Scott Caan. Or like,
what was his dad's name? His dad was in the Godfather. He's the one that played Sonny.
Uh-huh.
I think of his name, James Caan.
Yeah, James Caan. Yeah.
Like
his son might have been in there too. You never know. He had a son that was an actor too for the longest time.
Who, James or Sean?
James.
Yeah. I don't know if he was in that one because I think that was in like this early 70s, 75. 72?
Godfather.
Godfather.
The Godfather was like
70. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, so these two dudes, it's like, what if AEW marks had no internet or transportation, and they're on their way to go to go get Cody Rhodes back?
Oh shit! Okay.
Would that be the same kind of parallel, CJ? In a way.
I don't know. I looked up some reviews to kind of from when it came out to get the contemporary at the time review. And it was kind of like Dumb and Dumber if they were wrestlers, kind of. or not or
Okay.
wrestling fans, not wrestlers, but wrestling fans. It probably would have been better if they were wrestlers, you know. So anyway, so there are these huge wrestling marks, big time wrestling fans. They live for the shows. They live out in bumfuck Wyoming, whatever. And their favorite wrestler is this guy named the King, and he's played by Oliver Platt. And the King is like the Hulk Hogan or the Rock. He's like the big star. You know, he's the WCW heavyweight champion. He's a badass, whatever.
Yeah.
And so they're doing this. They're watching him. Actually, they get tickets to see him live in Wyoming. He happens to be in Wyoming, and the promoter of the show, of the Federation, he's played by Joey Pantaloni. I always call him Joey Pants. You know, Cypher in the Matrix. You know,
Yep.
yeah, Joe Pantaloni, whatever. He's like the Vince McMahon type character or whatever.
Yeah.
He's tired of the King. You know, the King's full of himself, so the King needs to be replaced. So they do a screw job on him, and all the wrestlers in the Federation beat the shit out of the King for real, quote unquote. And Diamond Dallas Page becomes the new champion, right? And so this becomes a quest for these two donks to find the King and restore him to glory and make him champion again. Kind of like that. Is that in a nutshell? Did I leave any big parts out?
Yeah.
That's pretty much
Yeah,
it.
like Jimmy King is like the top dog, and then he has to fall and be humbled. And also, ultimately, it's a redemption story, you know, but with like wrestling and it's comedy. You know, you got David Arquette, and I don't think that other dude has done comedy. I think he's done more action stuff than.
Wasn't he on the Hawaii Five-0 TV show or something like that? He was on a show like that. Yeah, if it wasn't Hawaii Five-0, it was a show like that.
Yeah, yeah. I think
So do they find him right away? Or do they have to go like cross country and just start looking for this guy?
No,
Yeah,
they find him they find him right away, and then they start his arc.
Yeah.
So like, you know, once they establish the rematch or whatever, they get in cahoots with the old school wrestling coach, and he gives off like Bret Hart's dad, Stu Hart vibes, like
I got that same feeling. I was like, yeah, he's kind of like the Stu Hart of the
fucking everybody up that wants to be a wrestler, you know, old school, old guy. I forget the actor's name, Martin Landau.
Yeah, that's funny too, because it's like he did this movie, and then he did that terrible movie with Halle Berry where she was like a hood rat or whatever. It was called Baps. I don't know if you ever heard, but this guy, he's like this legendary, established, serious role actor, and he's done, you know, some of his last movies were these screwball, goofy comedies and stuff, man, that were mediocre. But so Martin Landau, he kind of chewed the screen there. I thought DDP was pretty good for his character as the main heel and stuff. He was definitely Dallas in character for sure. He was.
Well, DDP was on there.
Yeah, he was the main heel. He was
the main
heel character.
Okay.
It was hard because I remember him being a good guy the majority of his run. You know, close to, I guess, when they started doing the New Jersey Triad or whatever.
Oh, so you didn't see any of his stuff before he was a wrestler, when he was like a manager, when he
a lot of that early stuff. I just remember
he was Scott Hall's manager when Scott Hall was the Diamond Stud. Yeah, he was good. Yeah. I liked him. I liked that he had the outline. He kind of looked like a pimp, like Michael Hayes dresses now and stuff. You know, he kind of looked like that.
Yeah. So
so they beat the shit out of this guy called the King, dude. Like that's messed up.
So the
beat the fuck out of him. Bad that his crew turned on him, and they started beating the fuck out of him.
Yeah, all the rest is yeah. So and
were they paid to, or they're just like, I'm gonna cause the downfall of this motherfucker now, man?
Nah, Joey Pants orchestrated the whole thing. He basically like, you know, I'm tired of you. Even though you're a big money maker, you're a draw and all this stuff. You're starting to think that I need you. I'm trying to show you that I can replace you. That's kind of like some Vince McMahon shit right there, you know.
Yeah, he's like, you think your shit don't stink, you know, you go out there and guess what? flipped the script on his ass. They they literally beat like he's all bloodied and stuff, so he's not like completely beat the fuck up, but like they were landing some punches and kicks and stuff, and he kind of like gives up, to the point where he's living in his parents' mobile home. His dirty crab ridden wife is trying to sell crotch to some wrestling fans so she can pay the son's dental bill because that boy's got some fucked up teeth.
Yeah. So the king, so these guys, these two donks, they're big time wrestling fans. Everybody thinks they're dorks, they're losers, David Arquette's whole family, they're state troopers, and his dad is on his ass to quit bullshit and wasting his time with wrestling and get his ass into the academy and be a cop just like the rest of them and shit. And he's like, no, I want to follow my dream. This is wrestling. And so they idolize this guy, man, the king. They think he's this great. They think he's a king for real. And reality, his wife is, she's a bitter old, pissed off because he bounced and abandoned the family, and he's a his parents wishing him dead and all that stuff. So they're trying to, and they're trying to hype this guy and trying to get him to turn around and regain his glory.
See, I like movies like that, man. Like I said, like the behind the scenes for wrestling, just sometimes it's just like tragic as hell, man. The personal lives of these wrestlers, man. Case in point, the Von Erichs, or you got whatchamacallit, fucking Bruiser Brody, dude. Just
Yeah.
I love those wrestling backstories, man. That makes me, I guess it makes me realize that these larger than life characters are just like everybody else,
Well, yeah, I mean, you ever watch Dark Side of the Ring? That's a lot of like stories. You'll hear these stories on podcasts or like flybys, and they do like reenactments and stuff, and it's no joke, man. Back in the day, I mean, I'm sure it's gotten better. Like back in the day, the boys would be in the back playing cards, ribbing on each other, doing pranks and stuff. And like the joke now is that everybody in the back now is playing video games and is either catering and chilling, or
Yeah.
and
Conan,
some even disrespect the legends that are there to be like, hey, can you check out my, so that's like saying, one of the great comedians, say Dave Chappelle swings by an open mic, and I'm up there, or somebody who's a year or two in, and they see Dave Chappelle, and their first reaction is, or hey, you should go ask him, see how well did you do, and maybe give me some pointers, like what do you think, and he's willing and able, and to give you that knowledge, and you decide, nah, I'm good, I'm gonna go get me a couple of taquitos, and I'm gonna bounce.
Yeah.
It's like you have a wealth of knowledge, someone who's been in the game, someone who's done it. For whatever reason, he decides, you know what, I'm gonna spread my knowledge to the younger generation, and they just like, yeah, piss at it, spit it, almost like a spit in the face. But it's like, okay, whatever.
Yeah.
That's
It's
the
like,
craziness now. Like back in the day, they would have been like all of this, like, hey, yo, what'd you think? What can I do better? What can critique me, mold me, whatever. So
it's crazy, right? I mean, it's just like, oh, now I can watch a YouTube video and I could do that. I think I could be a wrestler, or I could be a comedian too. I could just watch this YouTube video and I know everything. That's crazy,
yeah,
man. It's just like it's a weird dynamic shift, right?
yeah, it's crazy times now, but I mean, now we do have, like I changed my brakes the other day, and I learned most of what I needed to do on YouTube. That's the
Right. Right.
YouTube, university isn't bad, but at the same time,
It's about
you
how
got,
you use it and how you consume it, and
yeah, if you got
and
people that
how you
have been
put
through
it
it,
out into it. Yeah.
yeah. But so yeah, dude, like that's a typical, like the marks. That's kind of like a bad word towards people who love something. But I mean, wrestling nerds, marks, back in the day, they were on message boards. They were probably, like had a bunch of magazines, and trying to get all the insider dirt and stuff like that. And now it's just different because everything you can get, all the juicy stuff is on Twitter, Facebook or YouTube and all that stuff. And so these dudes were like getting the dude's address, like his home address, from like another wrestling nerd whose dad calls him a pussy for vomiting, and he's like, I gotta get off the phone. My dad says, talking, yeah, I've been on the phone too long, it's for pussies. And then you hear his dad in the background, what are you doing? Get off the fucking phone.
Yeah, these guys legitimately they legitimately have a shit job, you know, pumping
Shit.
sewage out of porta potties and shit like that. But
Oh,
And then that's a
yeah,
funny scene too, because
it's a
they
trippy
wrecked
movie.
it. They
You got to
wrecked
get
it.
high enough to enjoy it, though.
They wrecked their crapmobile coming back crying because Jimmy the King lost. Then the fire department, as they're cleaning up the mess, a truck full of toilet paper, jackknives, and then they get covered with toilet paper and watery. It's just,
oh.
it's a funny scene, but it's almost like unnecessary. But it's like, you know what? Fuck it, throw it in there. It's funny. It's pretty funny.
Ugh. So they meet up. So they have shitty jobs, and they meet up with this wrestler. Like, what do they? I guess like what do they go through with this wrestler? Like, what do they have him do to get to this like redemption arc?
Well, they believe in him for one, you know. I'm trying to remember what was like the catalyst, because by then, like I was kind of sick when I was watching it, so
They
fading in and
they
out.
paid for a meet and greet and went and bought him some beer, and they were just telling him, you can't give up. I mean, hell, like I think they had said something about giving him an opening to beat up DDP or beat up the promoter. What was the promoter's name?
Well, I was just on the
Joey
But yeah,
Pants.
Joey Pants played him. His name was in the, let's see, it was
Vince McRib.
uh,
Titus
you said it was
Sinclair. Titus
Sinclair.
Sinclair, yeah.
And yeah, so he thinks like, all right, cool, like you're gonna give me a chance to at least punch this little fucker for, fucking me over. I'll go with you, stupid nerds. Let's go. We'll take turns driving. So I think they went from Wyoming to like New York, and then they get there, and in the process of getting his punches in on the guy, um, they kind of kind of fake, did a pinfall where they counted to three, and Sinclair's all like, no, 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 you don't get a bet, you want a match, and then he's like, $1 million match at the pay-per-view, and like a triple cage match. So it's like a cage on top of a cage on top of another cage, like a little layered cake, and the belt's up top, and I think he had like 4 weeks to prepare for it. And so yeah, they're training, and uh, so the two guys is, so David Arquette played Gordy, and James Sean,
John Dawkins, yeah.
he played Sean. His name was Sean, right?
Yeah. Gordy and Sean.
Uh, the Con, what was it? Scott Con.
Scott
I think
Conn
it was
played
kind of
Sean.
close to his real name.
Conn played Sean, yeah.
Yeah, and so uh, Gordy starts getting in with like the Nitro Girls. So the Nitro Girls are like the cheerleaders of WCW.
Right,
Hot,
right.
hot.
Kimberly and yeah.
The one that married Booker T, Charmaine,
Yeah.
how do you think? Charmaine?
Charmaine, yeah.
Oh shit. Okay. Okay.
Shawn Michaels' wife, yeah.
Yeah, that's right. She was one too. Holy shit. And
DJ,
so
we're in the wrong business, bro. Where's our Nitro girls, bro?
for real, get a lot more business. Coming to the stage.
Yeah, you guys deal with chuckle fuckers. That's, you know what I'm saying. That's
Oh no,
I'm
we
retired
call
from
them
all that. I'm happily married, but yeah,
we call them giggle girls, sir. Giggle girls,
girls chuckle fuckers is the same thing.
chuckle fuckers, giggle girls.
So
Nah,
anyway, so
okay.
like the stakes. So the stakes for for the king, you know, they're trying to hype him up to go get his belt back, and so what's on the line is $1 million and his belt if he wins, and if he loses, he is banned from WCW forever and can never, you know, come back, whatever. So that's like
Right.
the motivation for the boys to kind of get the king back to his glory, you know.
That's
Yeah.
dope, bro. Okay. So they train him. Does he what so like what's the big match? How many people are on there? Like what happens? Is there like do they have to like climb on see, I never really got the cage match fighting. Do they have to climb on top and snatch it or what?
Yeah, so like a cage match, like an OG cage match, the roof is off, and you just got to climb out of the cage. You win by pinfall. I won't say it can be counted, or pinfall or escaping the cage. And then with these other, I think WCW had more of an enclosed cage, so you really couldn't climb out. You had to get out through like the door. You had to make your way out to win. And so, but this cage, it was weird because I had the big one covering the ring with just the two guys, and their crew were outside, watching from outside the cage. You got the metal cage, so there was like a ladder. There was, I think, yeah, you said I had to set up a ladder up in the middle to climb up to the second cage. The second cage had like a little chain link ladder to get to the top cage, which a little, I guess, had a door because the belt was literally on the outside of the top of the top cage.
Right.
And so they're off there. Them two are fighting. Then Sinclair, the other guys come in. I don't know if you remember Bam Bam Bigelow.
Yes, I have actually. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
He was in there.
Rest in peace.
DDP's crew. It was Saturn, Sid Vicious, Psycho Sid. Um, there was another guy in that crew too. And while they're coming in to try to beat up on Jimmy King, trying to prevent him from going up, his crew, who the guys had kind of like went up around like, hey guys, like went to Bill Goldberg. I was like, hey bro, would you have his back? And he's like, nah, I work alone. Like, nah, I'm not gonna help him. Uh, Booker T was in that group. Disco Inferno was in that group. Billy Kidman, and then so they come in to like
Perry Saturn.
even the odds. Yeah, they try to even the odds. And then Gordy, who when they went to go train, his dad kind of just told him, that's enough's enough. You're gonna study for this test. You're gonna do this. You're gonna be a cop. He kind of pulls him away from Jimmy and his buddy, and it's like, do you think like it's one of those that we're not gonna see him, or it's kind of like when he shows up, it's like a huge pop because he's in like this whole state trooper uniform on a motorcycle. It's never explained how he got this shit. He just, I guess, rummaged through his dad's own junk and stole his motorcycle. Because he shows up and like hits the ramp and breaks the cage, and all hell's breaking loose. And it's got Kid Rock music playing in the background. So it's like, who gives a fuck what the story is? This is fucking awesome. Just beat the fuck out of each other. Chicks getting hit with ladders. It's pandemonium. It's crazy as hell. Crazy as hell. And yeah, so from then, he makes his way up. Sting. I don't know if you've seen any Sting matches or know about the Crow gimmick. He shows up and helps Jimmy get the title, or helps Jimmy fight off DDP, and then they have the huge blow off fight, and then he wins, and it's like shit to go from like if it was a real wrestling match, it would have taken at least 20 minutes for it to be done.
Right.
But this is like boom, 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 boom. It's a movie, and
They were just like fighting, boom, boom. Then they got up and shit.
Yeah, so he got him down. You think DDP's gonna win, but then he comes back. Somebody helps him. So it's like I said, man. It's got that Kid Rock music playing in the background. You're just getting kind of pumped. And then at the end, it's like, okay, Gordy's a wrestler now, and
yeah,
the end. The next thing you know, they're at the Quickie Mart again because the movie started off at like a quick stop.
Right. Wait, is Gordy like an actual wrestler? Or they work him there because that'd be the most horrible ending ever.
Well, yeah, that's the story. Like, so now Gordy's the wrestler, or now he's a new wrestler called the Lawn, and his buddy is the manager, and everything's all hunky dory. Even though they just beat the fuck out of the person that's gonna pay them ultimately, like they beat up the boss, and he I don't know. They don't even explain what happened. If the WCW went to the people, or Sinclair, got fired or whatever. He gets beat up in the audience, and they don't even talk about him anymore.
Well, wait. So what happened to Joey Pants? He just got beat up. They didn't like. Did the King do it, or did the audience do that shit?
They threw him into the crowd. They threw him in the crowd. You just see the fucking people wailing on him like a metal concert.
Fuck. That's a badass fucking movie, bro.
It's on Tubi, I think, right? So
Yeah,
it's still on Tubi. So check it out.
I
yeah,
will definitely.
check it out.
That's a,
Good.
see, I like I said, behind the scenes shit. Basically, they just shaped up, his storyline so he could come back and just fucking kick ass.
Yeah, I put it in the category of like early 2000s, like American Pie, road trip type of comedies.
Okay, okay. It's a comedy then. I like it.
See,
There's a lot of all right. Per American Pie.
CJ was
Somebody
like, "Wait
fucks
a
a
minute."
pie in this movie. All right.
This movie was whack. I'm saying, but I guess I wasn't high enough to watch it. You know what I'm saying? But I popped for all the wrestlers that were in there, man. I popped for so DDP was in there, Goldberg, Sting. Let's see. I'm looking at the cast. Ray Mysterio, Sans Mask, which is a nice bonus. I thought I was like, oh shit, because at that time, luchador, that's a big deal. And he was wrestling Billy Kidman in that opening match. Oh, by the way, Carolyn Ray played the King's wife.
Nice.
Yeah.
Shout out Caroline Ray. Yeah.
Randy Savage was in the opening scene. Yeah, Macho Man was in the opening scene, like in a dream sequence. Gordy was wrestling against Macho. The late Bam Bam Bigelow, Sid, Conan. Oh, Mr. Perfect was in there. I forgot. Kurt Hennig was in there.
What was the name of the chick? Rose McGowan?
Yeah, Rose McGowan was the
Yeah.
female lead, the love interest who was a turncoat, working for the man. Hoovy was in there. Hoovy, the juice.
Yeah.
And the great Glenn Gilberti, aka Disco Inferno, Mean Gene Okerlund.
Yeah.
Lil Nate, Charles Robinson. Yeah. And let's see.
Tony Atlas. No.
Yeah, Mike Tenay, Tony Schiavone, Booker T, Perry Saturn.
Harry Saturn?
Harry Saturn. Saturn was a badass, man. When he was in ECW and even in WCW, before he went to WWE or whatever, I thought Saturn was a badass, man.
I remember him with the mop. He was doing the mop.
Yeah, that's when he had heat. Yeah, he had heat. They were ribbing him. And, he had to carry that mop around and stuff because he was hurt. He hurt somebody or whatever for real. And so that was like his receipt. But yeah.
So as wrestling fans, would you say that this is very close to what wrestling was? Is this like close to the spirit of wrestling or what?
Oh, definitely.
This was all right. So David Arquette was a huge wrestling fan. So this was kind of
a wrestler, right? Wasn't he a wrestler too?
Yeah, he did a little bit.
He did a few of those outlaw mud shows and shit. He kind of did that because among wrestling fans, he has a lot of heat. Because of he was a WCW champion. Back when Russo was writing and stuff like that. So he's been vilified by a lot of these smart marks today and stuff. These fans that hate Russo and hate that era of WCW.
They blame all the bad stuff on his writing when he wasn't even there.
Yeah. I think Vince still has on his YouTube. He has a conversation with David Arquette years later after this when Arquette was getting back into wrestling, whatever. And Arquette was like apologizing to him. I'm so sorry. He was going, I'm so sorry, wrestling fans. I was just trying to, I was just being a fan. And Vince was like, motherfucker, we used you were one of the biggest stars in Hollywood and shit. We were using that screen popularity to bring eyes to that wouldn't normally watch our shit. So no, thank you. Stop apologizing, bro. Right. And so he kind of so
that's
how I like that guy. I like David Arquette, but
yeah,
he's it's hard to take that him seriously in the roles that he's played and stuff. So he nails the goofy slacker character because he looks like a goofy slacker. You know what I'm saying? even though he's probably not, but he looks like one.
Right.
So that was kind of what Ready to Rumble was, kind of like one of his like passion projects to get a part to do and stuff. And WCW get a chance to stay mainstream and, you know, try to bring eyes back to their product, because by then their ratings were, you know, in the shitter. They were getting ass
going down.
Man, in the shitter compared to what wrestling numbers are today. They would kill for those only 6 million viewers or whatever the hell they were pulling, you know.
Right.
I think they were like at 3 or 4 million when they finally, you know, shut the lights off. You know.
Damn. Okay.
Yeah, like a year after this movie came out, year in like what, 6 months or so. They sold it to Vince McMahon, and that's a whole other subject when they were on WCW. People were in WWE officially.
Yeah.
Did it work? Did it boost up the ratings, y'all think? Or, you know,
with WCW? Nah.
Yeah.
WCW was on, they died. They were on the way out.
Yeah.
There was no.
What replaced them?
Nothing.
Baseball.
So
or it was another federation?
So
no.
If you want to crash course on WCW versus WWE, it's from WWE's slant because they're the winners. But check out the Monday Night Wars series. It's on Peacock, and it'll break down the whole where Vince McMahon was on the verge of losing, you know, and during that time, there's a chance that we would be talking about WCW now instead of WWE. It was that hot of a rate, and for us fans, it was great because it was like, you know, each side had to try to bring out their best to draw viewers and stuff. So it was creatively. And you watch some of the, you know, I watch some of these things, and I get sucked in as a fan again, and I'm like, damn, why can't they do it like this no more? Why is this stuff is so freaking good?
And,
I think back in the day,
the good stuff is good. It's still timeless, bro.
Yeah, back in the day, there was no Twitter, there was no instant. I mean, there was message boards, but the common person didn't know how to operate a message board or get on there. You'd have to be in like huge overload, you know, nerd mode. You know, I'm Hulk Hogan Maniac fan #1, you know, and whatever.
Yeah, like the hardcore fans back then would like mail each other tapes of stuff from their territory and stuff, you know, and
there was a lot of
So in the Great Northwest, we have this champion, and in Georgia we have this champion, in Texas we have this champion, in New York we have this champion. You know, so that's kind of that's how the origins of like super fandom and wrestling. You know, the insiders. Not anybody can, you know, Google all the stuff that was kayfabe back then. That was like secrets and nobody knew. But
if somebody right now wanted to see what was going on with the AEW people, you just literally log in, search, boom, now you got like a bunch of different articles talking about it. Back in the day, people wanted to know if Kevin Nash and Scott Hall were really gonna go back to WWE, WWF, because they WWF owned the names Diesel and Razor Ramon, so they thought they'd pull one over on the fans, knowing that, oh, well, these guys jumped over to WCW, and then they started. I guess they realized, well, we own the names. Diesel and Razor Ramon are coming back next week.
Yo, I remember, bro. I remember when watching that build leading up to it and seeing them pop. I remember back then, as a fan, thinking like, "Oh shit, what the fuck is Razor Ramon doing on there? What the fuck is Diesel going on there and shit?" You know, I didn't know that. I didn't know about the curtain call at the time. I still thought Diesel was Diesel and Razor was Razor. You know what I'm saying?
So like, you couldn't go and log in to like a Twitter back in the day. It was the information was given to you there on the show. And then they had like they call them dirt sheets, the little guys that are kind of in the business, but not really. They just write about it.
Yeah, rumors and knows and shit.
Yeah, like they know their shit, but they're just, assuming, and you're paying them for their information. But, so like even CJ said, he was confused. He like, what are they really coming back, or what are they doing over there now?
Right.
Like, how did they leave WWE for WCW? they got paid for doing that. Kevin Nash and Scott Hall used it to their advantage because WCW is like, hey, what's going on? You're talking to them. What do we need to do to keep y'all here? Let's up your, hey, let's give you more money. And they're
Yeah,
just
yeah,
like,
yeah.
yeah, sure. What, couple more mil a year? Like, what's up? Man? Yeah, whatever you need. Boom, boom, boom. And then the the shit happens where they bring up a fake Razor and a fake Diesel,
Right.
two random dudes that are in the gimmick, but they're obviously not them. Fans lost their shit. They're like, what the fuck? Like,
Yeah, 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 yeah. Like, if you're gonna be a heel, you need to be that fucking heel. Like, you can't be like, you can't turn good all of a sudden at a grocery store. I heard stories all the time where wrestlers are like, man, I struggle all the time because I have to be like an evil asshole all the time, you know?
yeah. But they like
Yeah,
completely got two different dudes, put them in that same gimmick when the guys that made the gimmick are, on the other team or whatever. But it's a trip. Like, yeah, definitely go out and check out the Monday Night Wars on Peacock or the WWE Network, and then the fall of WCW because they put some. I think it's the rise and the fall or something on
Something
WCW.
like that. Yes, something like that. But yeah, man. I know you got a gig later on, so
oh yeah, right at 10. Yes, sir.
yeah.
But yeah, man. This is so I just want to ask this. Would y'all say that the internet really kind of not messed up? Do you think it kind of like it kind of took away the spirit of wrestling? Because y'all said like before Twitter, before everything, fans were just connecting with each other, sending each other tapes, sending in message boards. Do you think it kind of ruined it, or did it strengthen up?
It's
I
like a
guess.
double-edged sword, in my
Yeah.
opinion. Like, it gave us the opportunity to discover other fans. Like, I remember growing up, my brother, we were huge Wolfpack, red and black fans, NWO Wolfpack. And I remember him, he had the background on the computer screen. He in the morning, he was putting on the theme song before getting ready to go to school, and then he was on some sort of message board or some sort of thing where he was talking about how uh, the storyline was going to kick out one or two guys or something like that. They're going to rejoin the black and the white. And I kept telling them, no, you're foolish. No, they're the good bad guys. And those guys, they suck. There's like 80 guys in the NWO. No, I wasn't hearing it. And like a month or two later, it happened where
Oh shit.
they re, they got everybody back together and stuff like that. And I was like, oh, shit.
It just
But
brings a surprise, and like internet just kind of ruins that surprise, if anything, right?
more so as we advance, because like,
Right,
internet pages are different from like someone tweeting or whatever,
right.
or the topics or the trends that you put a hashtag in, and now you're just seeing a plethora of just random, you know, news or gossip or whatever.
Yeah,
But
Yeah. So to to your point as far as the double-edged sword, so from like right around COVID, everything started shutting down. That's kind of when I became like a super fan of Conan and Vince Russo and
right,
stuff, and became Patreon members and stuff. And at best, I like there's still the spirit of that old school wrestling in the podcast in the podcast realms and stuff, because you get perspective of people who were in the ring or wrote and created some of this stuff, and
right.
get their perspective both on today's product and recollections and stories, both good and bad, funny and serious and all that, from their days on the road and their days coming up and stuff, is freaking awesome, bro. And to say that I know Disco and I know Conan and I know Vince Russo and stuff because of technology and stuff, it's fucking awesome. I met Nicho and other cats, in the community and stuff, and shout out to Joe Feeney, who produces Conan, Keep It 100 with Conan and Disco, as well as the Raven Effect. Another, Raven Effect is just another Raven's just another character in his own world and shit. His show has
Right.
no structure at all. He's just,
yeah,
he's out there.
just
But
fun conversations
yeah,
and
but
bands without.
but those guys, and Jeff Lane, Vince's producer, those guys, are very fan interactive as well and stuff. So there's like a community within the fandom of those fan and those two fan bases. There's a lot of interaction and stuff too. You know, you'll see. I'm not the only one who's a fan of both. So
yeah,
that part is dope. The flip side comes to Nicho's point as well, with the rumors and the gossip and all that stuff. But then also you've got these quote unquote experts,
right,
and pundits and critics who don't know shit about wrestling, set foot in the ring, but because they they're
know somebody or heard
they know
somebody,
somebody, or they love wrestling so much that they devote their whole life to just writing about it and fantasy booking and all that stuff.
or they're hired by the company to write good shit.
Yeah. So that's infiltrating, and that's what's kind of making it like for us old head, that's like, just, you know, I don't even want to listen to what you guys got to say because I don't know who are you, you know.
It's like watching a trailer to a movie. Like I want to be surprised at the end of the day, you know.
Well, I want to get someone's perspective on who's done this shit, you know.
I would compare it to you know, having a podcast talking about movies, bad movies, and that person wasn't in them, didn't write it, didn't act in it. He was just watching it and put it on a podcast. You know, not pointing the fingers.
Who would do some loser shit like that, right? You know what I'm saying? Only losers do shit like that.
Who would put money in writing, a microphone,
sorry.
a web camera? Who would waste their time purchasing these items if he wasn't A, getting paid, and B, bored out of his fucking mind and just decided, fuck it.
Yeah, any loser can waste a couple hours on a Friday night and make a podcast. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I mean, we were supposed to do this a couple of times already.
Yeah.
Friday just popped up.
So like and subscribe to our podcast.
For real, if you're still watching this, or if you're watching it at all, hit the like button, put the subscribe, hit me up on X. I'm gonna keep calling it Twitter. You know, this has been fun, man. I really wish you'd seen the movie. And
I'm sorry, it's all the wrong movie.
No, Nicho. This is right on brand, bro. This is Drew on a regular. This is perfect. It makes perfect sense that he watched the wrong fucking movie. It's great. This is right on brand. Yeah. we couldn't have planned this any better, man. We couldn't have storyboarded it. We could have had production meetings, and we wouldn't have come up with, hey, let's just have Drew watch the wrong movie and let's see how far we go and try and figure it out.
You know what? I liked it when y'all explained the movie better, honestly. Y'all guys are my Wikipedia. Okay.
Giving you wrong information and stuff.
So awesome.
There wasn't even David Arquette in there. It was like Cat Williams.
It was his brother from Pulp Fiction, or his sister. I don't know. That's a good transition. I'm not. I want to say Rosette, no, but that's the other chick.
No, Patricia Arquette.
No.
Oh, the one who, I forgot.
Is Patricia, and it was a Rosanna or Rosita?
Rosanna Arquette was the other. I forgot. Patricia is his brother's sister.
Stigmata. She was in Stigmata.
She was the Stigmata. She was.
She was in Little Nicky. She was a chick that Little Nicky was in love with.
Yeah. All right, guys. Listen, I'm gonna take off. I got a show here at 10, but hey, I want to be on this podcast again. I would love to do a horrible sequel with you. I want to say Blues Brothers 2000, but
that's on your list.
Yeah, but I mean, if you find something down there or whatever, I'm always open to random installments. I think CJ sent you a list of kind of like an idea of what I'm willing to talk about this year or whatever.
Yes, sir.
I mean, it's awesome to meet you. Thanks for doing this, and good luck tonight. And when I make the trip up there, I'm definitely gonna hit up meet with y'all and have a beer or something.
Don't be a stranger, Nicho, man. We would love to have you in San Antonio, brother. Hey, peace.
All right, Drew. Peace out, bro. Shout out to Drew Blues, man. Good dude.
Shout out to Drew. Awesome guy. It was the first time meeting him. You can tell
he's got a show, so he's got a haul ass. So
yeah, you can tell he's a funny dude. But yeah, I wanted to get his take on someone who wasn't like grew up on either wrestling or the movie. He said he was a younger, so
yeah, he's 29. So yeah, he'll be 30. Yeah, he'll be 30 this year. I'll be 50 this year.
Oh
Man.
yeah, okay. So yeah, so when it came out, he was probably about 7 years old. So he might have seen it, maybe, but yeah. Um, but yeah, it's fun. Talk a little bit of comedy with you guys. If you're watching on the YouTube live, appreciate you. This is the raw footage. Nothing's being edited, nothing's being beeped or whatever. Uh, I might edit one, but the audio is going to be released on the Extra Butter feed with all the bells and whistles. CJ, what's going on with you, man? You got any shows this week? Shows in the next month or so?
Nothing yet. I just finished a show last Friday. Dakota East Side Ice House. Great time there. Shout out to Arturo Bars who hosted the show. And now I'm just trying to get out there, man. Last time we talked, I was kind of in one of those hiatus periods and shit. So I've been back out of it for about a month and a half, 2 months now. So it feels good to get back on the grind. So hey, follow me on Instagram and on X, mainly on Insta. Love them at CJ Tells Jokes, and that's where I'll post any upcoming shows and shit like that, man.
Hell yeah, and don't keep your fruit out for a month so you can throw it at
I
a
was actually
particular.
hoping at least one person would have showed up.
Kind of funny if
I would have popped huge. I would have put Disco over. You know what I'm saying?
he probably would have been like Ric Flair when he at the retirement age. Like, come on, I'm sorry, I just want to shout out. Ah,
Yeah. Now, I met Disco last April when wifey and I went to Vegas, man. He was a good dude, man. He was, he's didn't stop me from getting a red card and a yellow card and getting suspended, you know what I'm saying, from the mailbag. One of them for shit I didn't even do. This is tremendous. But nah, both of those guys have been cool with us every time we've had roundtables or watch alongs and shit like that. So
I've,
shout out to
I've
Vince
been
too. Vince has been mad cool. I actually had a conversation with him last, at the end of the month and stuff.
okay, yeah.
So yeah, it's really I got a lot of love for the fans in the K100 and brand fan group and all that, and
Oh, yeah.
Feeney's people and Jeff Lane's people and shit. We all a nice little community. Shout out to Mike Holder and what's his name with the Ebony and Ivory, Frank Further, and shout out
Oh, yeah.
to
Uh,
cat down in Australia, Aviet, and let's see who else you got. Of course, the JJ Claxton and Chris Mason on their TikTok. You don't stop. Woo!
Does the show, JJ.
Uh,
I was a friend of the show, JJ
yeah,
Claxton, did a
yeah,
couple episodes with him, and I was actually on his podcast last year.
yeah.
Um,
I think I was on
so
his last year as well. Shout out JJ.
hell yeah. But
There's
with that being
there's a lot of
said, I
cats I'm
mean,
missing, man. But
I'm sure we touched base with the majority of them. Uh, uh, yeah, man, like the community, the fandom between the Russo brand and the K100, and I mean, it's just a plethora of wrestling fans that have been. We're all different, but we all have a common love for the shows and love for the content they put out. Because I mean, uh, there's a lot of fan interaction. And I think that's what you really want to pay for. Is like giving you a Patreon deal, but what do I get back in return? Like
yeah,
I get ad free, I get clips, I get behind the scenes videos, the video mailbag,
yeah,
opportunity to get a shout out, opportunity to talk to them on video, Zoom call, or StreamYard. And so, I mean, do the intros. I've done it a few times. I know you have also.
yeah,
So, I mean, and they're informative. They talk about. I mean, you send them an email, they'll answer it. I mean, it may not be on the show if you're not on Patreon, but it's worth the 5, 10, 15, $25 plus
yeah,
all the
man.
different tiers and I mean,
Shit,
I,
man.
I know I had to cancel mine a couple of times just to keep my head above water, but it's been pretty steady for the last year or so. You
Yeah.
know, I mean,
Besides wrestling, we've chopped it up about, because Conan's
music.
a fellow sailor, and we've talked, we've compared notes. He's a little bit older than me. He's about 10 years older than me. And so his Navy experience is different than mine. And so just comparing those, we've talked about You know,
Yeah.
Valdi went down. We had conversations about that shit. We've
Yeah.
talked boxing. You know, we've talked, you know, music, sports, the whole, you know, guy talk. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Remember
Yeah.
breaking, cracking jokes on Mike Durban because none of the chicks that he ever went home with were into Prince. So it's like, well, any chick that don't like Prince, you can't fuck with no way, you know. And busted, you know, breaking his neck and on that stuff. It was a good time and stuff. So it's worth it, bro. So
Yeah.
if you're considering, and look, we ain't getting compensated, we ain't getting no kind of nothing. We just putting over, you know, our experience as fans and in the K100 and Russo brand universes.
Yeah. Like you said, we I mean, hell, we're literally down the road from each other, but we haven't chopped. I mean, it's not like I met you at a Comic-Con. Like, hey, you like this too? All right, cool. Hey, here's my number. Want to talk about movies? It was basically, you know, I think you reached out or I had posted something, and it might have been from JJ. I think it was after JJ's episodes
I think so,
that
because I think I posted something in the Discord in the K100 Discord asking anybody had podcasts and stuff. I just was kind of wanting
yeah,
to feed in and be a guest on shows and shit. And I think
yeah,
that's
and
how.
it's all about networking too, man. Like,
Yeah.
you know, I mean, uh, what was that show I used to listen to? Um, oh, I'm drawing a blank on it, but like, yeah, it's just you got to network. Um, the same thing when I did the film slam. Like, I met some people through that like, oh, okay, you know, I've reached out and you know, seeing what the next one is, and you know, some of the critiques I got and everything. But I mean, uh, I was telling you earlier, my buddy Everett is getting back into the open mic scene, and he's working on a 5 minute set he's going to do at the end of this year, or I think it's next month. I mean, the beginning of this month, end of this month, or next month. And then he said like he can't go up again until 30 days after you did a set. And I'm guessing there's just a bunch of people just signing up, and it's kind of hard to. He said it's weird out there over in Tampa. I think it's around Tampa area,
Okay, interesting.
but Florida area. But yeah, man, you know,
Stand up's hot everywhere. Stand up is hot, man.
yeah, bro. I mean, you see Kill Tony's doing live shows, selling out. They're in Austin. That now they're doing one in Madison Square Garden and another place. You know, at the end of in the middle, I think in August and in December. But I mean, I don't know if that that live is out yet, but I mean, you would hear all kinds of people talking about how this random people that just be pulled out of the bowl and aren't really funny, and they're taken away from people that are doing it, you know, are actually working open micers or comedians, and so it's crazy. I mean, Kill Tony is fun, but I give it I do it like hour intervals, man. I watch it for like an hour, take a little break, and come back. I don't, you know, that's the beauty of YouTube and pause. It's not you don't have to watch it right then and there.
Yeah, I haven't jumped into that Austin cattle call. I mean, San Antonio is kind of starting to get nowhere near Austin as far as everyone's a comic, but I don't know. I kind of like being in San Antonio. I kind of like doing my thing here, you know, kind of
Yeah,
taking little baby steps and just really enjoying the process, man. But
yeah. I
I
mean, you
you
see a
know,
lot of people, you know, on the Kill Tony that moved to Texas just to be on that or just to be
yeah.
around the scene
Oh yeah, a lot of people.
because
Oh yeah,
you know,
let me get my minute. You know, let me do my minute on time. I'll get them on the interview. You know, I'm different. You know, I'll stand out. And you know, there are people who believe that shit. There are people who are thinking that they're gonna be the one that Tony
Austin is
discovered.
the new
You know,
Hollywood, man. Austin is the new Hollywood.
like, man, just if you want to do it for the experience, and you know, a couple of my friends, Drew. I think Drew did it, and he ate his ass. He was terrible. He bombed. A couple of my friends have bombed. You
Uh,
know,
but
but you know, shit, we're all, you know, everyone bombs. So the
yeah,
fuck, you know.
it's
I
like
used
I
to be
mean, it's
scared of
like the reason like I went back and did it that 2 summers ago or whatever back in 2022. You either do it and real okay, well, I suck, you know, but you won't know until you try. You know what I mean? Like you can talk about it But if you're not putting the effort in to either make that first step or that jump into the deep end, how will you really know? And then you can take it and critique it, and you just get. I mean, you're not gonna hit home runs the first time you're up the bat. You know what I mean? You need to practice. You practice makes perfect. Learn that when you were kids.
And it's comedy, bro. And I've said it before in conversation, but it is an elusive mistress that you'll fall in love with. That quote from comic I met before I even started, it has rang so true. And the other point that my friend Chris Gruyan, one of my early, one of my mentor coaches when I took a workshop at Upstage, and he said, comedy will help you tell the truth about yourself. You'll learn a lot about yourself by getting onto this crazy ass journey, and everyone's got a story to tell. A lot of people are using this as a medium to deal with fucked up shit. I know I started off that way, Now I'm just trying to be funny with, dark humor and shit like that,
Yeah.
I'm trying to be funny now. I'm trying to get
it's therapeutic in a way. Like I said earlier, like, some people they're just scared to be on. They're just, being in front of people. It's even people they know or don't know. Like I said, I mean, I can be in front of a room of strangers and not care because like I'm never gonna see these people again. It's like doing it in front of a room of people you may know or you know what I mean? Like I had a buddy of mine, him and his wife wanted to go see me at the open mic night. And I was dreading that more than anything because like are their laughs gonna be genuine or are their laughs gonna be like, oh hey, yeah, just with moral support,
Yeah.
And it never happened. I think something came up, they couldn't make it. And but yeah, it's a euphoric high after I'm done. Like when I just remember leaving home and just feeling like I was on cloud nine because, and I went back and watched the recordings and I was like, man, that didn't make no sense. And I forgot this. And
Yeah, picking it
at the
apart.
same time,
Like,
yeah,
that joke didn't land at all. But you hear
yeah.
they're laughing and shit. But you're like, that's not the way I wrote that,
Or
And
like,
that's me all the time, bro.
or like something hits that you weren't expecting it to hit. And so now you're like, well, how can I make that better or make it? So yeah, man, it's an art form. And like, I like listening to like Joey Diaz and a lot of the comedian podcasts, and they talk about just being up at an open mic
Yeah.
or just being in in the comedy scene, and and so yeah, I'm taking a lot of that and a lot of stuff that you've told me and just just counting my time, just like when is the best time? Like, should I go Tuesday night, hit up LOL or Upstage, stay there, you know,
Yeah, there's
do I
really
want to
no
switch it over
from
the
Sunday to Thursday, there's really no bad night, really. And you might have some slow nights, but as far as an opportunity to get stage time,
yeah.
Doug does his twice a month at Rockies, but then C Wayne, real C Wayne, he hosts one every Sunday, just started up at the spot called Ladybird.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, and then on Monday there's there's like three mics, 2 or 3 mics on Monday. Yeah,
Yeah,
three mics.
I saw the photo that's on one of the groups that you invited
Yeah,
me
San
to.
Antonio comedy probably. Yeah.
Yeah, it's got the list. It's the old comedy open mics as of September 2023. It's got one Sunday through
I should be
Saturday.
updated. I think Irma just updated it from this because she just sent out a thing to a couple other comics asking them to update the thing. So Irma's probably updating that list if she hasn't already. But yeah, man, it's
Okay.
Tuesday
So yeah,
there's 2 or 3 mics. Wednesday there's 3 mics. Thursday there's 2 mics. Fridays and Saturdays are the only ones that kind of I've seen some start stop. I think Crazy Ape has one like twice every other Friday, second and fourth Friday or something like that. But Friday and Saturday mics are hard because normally Fridays and Saturdays are when you're supposed to be getting paid. You're supposed to be working, you know what I'm saying? Or a touring comic, the touring comics, the big names hit on the weekends and stuff, you know, for the most part. So, but there's so many opportunities here in San Antonio, and there's always new mics popping up. So it's just a matter of whatever
just,
days you wanted to be there, then
yeah.
you know, between me, Drew, freaking Jay Valdez when I catch him, Devin, you know, there's always somebody doing something somewhere, you know, around here. And I like hitting different spots. I don't like hitting the same places. I like getting in front of different crowds. There are some places I haven't been to in a while, so then I'll just go show up and just try and be cool. I'm usually cool with at least 2 or 3, at minimum 4 comics at wherever spot I'm at. So that's kind of what I'm trying to do. Just be a good, if you know, until I'm a good comic, let me just be a good hang, you know. If I never become a good comic, at least I've always been a good hang, you know.
Supportive, yeah, for comics. But yeah, I
Like
mean,
shoot, this week I didn't really get up that much, man. I just kind of went as a fan and just kind of hung out and got some ideas and shit, you know.
yeah.
That's part of it too. That's part of it.
Oh yeah. So when I finally decide when and where to go, I'll definitely hit you up
Yeah,
and if available, swing by or critique me. Dude, I'm what do you call it? I'm not a snowflake where there's something you critique, I'm gonna take offense. That's how we get better. You take your critiques, take your criticism, and learn from them and adjust it, and try to shoot for a better result.
yeah, for sure.
But appreciate you coming on. Appreciate you bringing Drew on and whenever
Let
you're
me
ready.
plug his Insta real quick. So follow Drew
Yeah.
Drew Blues 1024. It's Drew Blues 1024 on Insta. I don't know what he's normally. I don't know if he's on X or not, but or Twitter. He's probably is on X, but yeah. Comedian, actor, and writer. Number one rule in life is to keep blazing and stay amazing. Follow him for more.
1024, you said?
Yep, 1024. Drew Blues 1024. Drew's
All
a
right.
good dude, man. Yeah, I always light it up a little bit when I'm on a show when Drew's on it, or I see him, I hear him first. I hear that van, and those brakes squeaking in the parking lot, and the shocks hollering as he's rolling out of the van and stuff. You know what I'm saying? But when Drew's in the building, is gonna be a good time, bro. He's a good dude.
Yeah.
And funny dude.
Yeah, man. Our conversation with him was pretty badass. Took us a while to get him on. We were having some issues, but he got it, and we knocked out a good couple hours.
Yeah, I got an hour and 41 minutes according to my roadcaster. I don't know how much live we did, but we've been recording for quite a minute. Yeah.
So, alrighty, man. Whenever you're ready, we'll have Drew back on, and we'll talk about Blues Brothers 2000.
Okay.
Or
Well,
something
we're
else
trying
comes
to,
up.
because I think right now we're cheap. We're trying to find free versions and shit. So I think last time,
No shit.
yeah, it
I
was.
said we do Ernest Goes to School because that's on Tubi.
Yeah, I do one of those Ernest movies because you really don't have to. Normally, I like to watch the original and then catch it, but with the Ernest movie, you ain't gotta do that
Yeah,
shit.
they're individual. I would say individual movies. There's no continuality other than, him and Vern. Hey,
Yeah,
Vern.
yeah, and then I'll always see if any of my other buddies want to join and chop it up and do a review. Maybe the next comic will watch the correct movie. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Well, all right, brother. Want to thank you, the audience, for checking out the live, checking out the video, checking out the podcast. 2024 season 7 of the main feed. This is Extra Butter, where randomly there is no set date, once a week, twice a week. This is just a random pop up on your podcast feed. But go like and subscribe where you get your podcast, YouTube. Hell, I'm on that TikTok. I'm on the Facebook, the X. I'm all over the place. Uh,
That's tremendous. Okay.
Oh, is there more?
After all this time, bro, he's still the biggest mark of all time.
Hey, Vince, that's not nice.
Got the sound bites on that roadcaster.
Okay.
Yeah.
Remember, ladies and gentlemen, if you're not laughing, you're not living. Take care of yourself and the people you love. And you got new. Peace.
Peace.